Hi everybody, happy Saturday. It's Saturday today. I had to look at my husband to get the verification. We are here at Happy Trees Home Studio and I'm going to do a painting tutorial for you guys tonight. I think this is my second one I've done from home. It's our fourth one that we've been doing since we've been on the quarantine. So I'm trying to get as many of these tutorial videos done while I have the opportunity. So for tonight, let's see. Actually, this is what we did, not last night, but the night before that. We did some Happy Trees with our stone path. So if you want to check this out, if you missed it, you can see all the videos after the fact. Tonight we are going to be doing a painting that is inspired by my friend Joey Henry's, one of his photographs. Let me see. I'm trying to get this all my set organized here. This was the photograph. So if you don't know Joey, Joey Henry's a musician. He also does wonderful photography. He's got a band, Joey Henry and the Dirty Sunshine Club, that we're listening to right now. So we'll be listening to that while we paint. He actually did a live video the other day, and that's when I painted this example. So I'm going to show you guys how to do this. These usually don't take very long, probably about 20 minutes or so. Once I start painting. And then, what else do I want to cover? Here's the CD we're listening to right now. So we got to support each other. We're all in this together. So anyway, support your local.
He's going live tomorrow. He has 2 shows.
He's going live tomorrow. So you got to keep this. Who needs Netflix? You have Facebook Live. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and start this by showing you guys what colors I'm using. I use a very basic kit when I paint. I've got the primary colors, red, yellow, blue, black and white, and there's a little bit of brown for this picture. As far as my brushes go, I got one that looks like this. Call this like the big bushy brush. A smaller, kind of more square, stubbier brush. And a little skinnier brush. So if you're just learning how to paint or you've got extra time and you're looking for things to do, get yourself some primary colors and a big brush and a small brush. At Happy Trees I have about 100 painting examples that we offer, and that's what I use for every single one of those. So you can get a lot done with just a little bit. So let's go in. Joey does a lot of puddlescapes, reflection photography, and this isn't a puddlescape, but this is a reflection. And what a time for reflection right now. Really self-reflect. We've got all this time. And we don't know when the end of it is. So, on a more cheerful note, let's paint some skies. So on this one, what I want to do is, let me hold this up again. I'm not going to have this up the whole time, but you can see color, the top is the same at the bottom. So the way that I go about doing this reflection, take that big brush out of the water, squeeze, squeeze, squeeze all that moisture out. And what I want to do is I'm just going to pick up some blue paint. I'm just going to get enough to get both sides of my brush loaded. So brush is loaded, and then I'm going to pick up a little bit of water on my brush, and I'm going to mix all of that up in the blue paint. So we want to thin that paint out a little bit. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in at the top here. I'm going to take that same color. You can see I'm not painting on your classic easel here. It's piano, but oh, it's acrylic paint that I'm using, by the way, so it does dry pretty quickly. It also wipes off of wood surfaces. So if you get it on your table or your piano, it'll clean off. All right, so I've got wet blue paint up here and down here, and now I'm going to start to get kind of an ombre effect. Washing my brush out, you got to really scrub your brush around in the bottom. Tap, tap. Squeeze your brush. I'm going in and I'm getting some white paint and also some hair. Okay. Take the hair out. Do a little white, add a little bit of water. So to get this ombre effect, I'm coming in right under the blue with some white, and I'm doing that on both sides. Now, this paint does dry quickly, and the trick to this is you got to catch it while it's wet. So I'm going to go in, once you've got that white paint on there, just go in and move your brush and go all the way up into this blue and drag it down into the white. And I would say come down about 4 finger spaces or so. And what you can do is just flip that canvas upside down. I'm going to rinse this blue off my brush because at this point I have wet blue paint and I have wet white paint, and I just want to go in and blend them together. So this step doesn't really require a lot more paint, but I'm going to just come in with basically a clean dry brush, and I'm coming up and dragging this down. Okay, so 4 finger spaces, 4 finger spaces. Looks pretty good, and you can see that it's kind of a nice blended effect there. Now I'm rinsing this brush off again. Don't be gentle. Just knock it around. Tap, tap. Squeeze your brush dry. So now I'm going to go in, and here through the middle, it's got all of these sunset colors. And so I'm going to go in, and I'm going to leave these up here for a moment. And I'm going to take my, hi Brent, I always forget to look at the screen when I'm doing this. I'm going to take a little scoop of white. See, you're getting to take your lesson, Brent. He's wanted to come to a painting class, and here we are. So I'm taking now to mix this color, a little bit of white. This is hard to see in this lighting. A little bit of yellow. But I want to add a little kind of blush because it's a sunset, so we got to have that nice pink in there. So what I'm going to do is just, the red is really, really strong, so I'm being really dramatic. Don't get very much red on your brush, and you'll see how much it changes this color when you add that in there. Alright, so I'm taking a little water, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to go right through the middle of the canvas. Now keep in mind there's going to be a horizon line, there's going to be a bunch of trees happening. So I want to go in and make this, let's just go about a whole hand. I'm just mixing up a little bit more of that color. Alright, so this is kind of right in the middle. And then I kind of want to go from this to a light yellow. So I've got kind of the more warmer colors in the middle. Sun going down, it's coming up. Rinsing my brush off again. Squeeze. So each time I'm doing a different color, for the most part, you'll want to rinse the brush off. I'm taking a little bit of white for this one. Just find wherever you've got on your paper plate here. I'm just taking a little bit of white and a little bit of yellow and adding some water. And I'm just going to go in right here. Let's do this side. And let's get down here. Okay. And then my brush hardly has any paint on it at all right now, but what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go in and blend. What I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna take a little bit of white by itself, kind of go right in here and just blend this up This paint's kind of drying up here, but you can even go all the way up and drag that down. And then I'm just going to keep flipping it because that's the easiest thing to do. So on this side, I can tell I did this one first because its paint's a little bit drier. That's okay. I'm just gonna go in. Okay. That looks pretty good. I mean, they're fairly, let me stitch this in close, fairly even on both sides. We're gonna put a lot of stuff on top of that. All right. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna come in with kind of a black-brown mixture. So let's see, I'm gonna take a little scoop of brown, add a little black to that. So in other words, it's dark brown. Just get a little bit of water added to your paint. Let's go in right here in the middle. You need to have kind of a pretty thick horizon line. And then what's going to start to happen is you've got, I guess in this picture there's like 4 main trees that I'm going to be following. And so what I'm going to do is just come in here. This one's a little skinnier. Let's do a couple more. We got a big one right here. And there's a little skinnier one next to that. Alright. And I'm going to stick to this black-brown mixture for a minute here. What I'm going to do is come in right along this . This is where I should have a close-up shot, but see if you guys can see that. So I'm just kind of going in, making these little trees back in here, but whatever happens up here, it's got to also happen as above, so below. So let's go in. Now, if I'm doing a reflection like this, I'm gonna get the reflection part-ish. If you try to sit here and match up every single leaf mirror for mirror, it'd take too long to do a live video, that's for sure. Okay, so I'm gonna get some, let's do some bushy leaves up here. That's always a nice dramatic effect. So if we get some, so with my big brush, I'm just going in with this dark paint and I'm just doing these little tap tap. Maybe you can hold it. Let me get my assistant here. Come in closer. Ah! Here we go. Like hold it like that.
Here?
Thank you.
I can't see it, so I'm just holding it.
I know, you're fine. So I'm going to kind of go in and do that same thing down here. So we know we've got some leaves across the bottom here. So I'm just kind of looking at where those marks are. Trying to follow it best I can. Let's see. Hang on. Hello? Now you can do it.
Okay.
We're trying all kinds of things. We had figuring out how to use camera stands and all of that. I'm just gonna put this right next to me. Okay. All right, let's get some more of these little guys in here. All right, now I'm gonna change up my color a little bit here in the middle of the picture. Actually, let's go ahead and do maybe like a little something right about in here. We're gonna put this is where the sun is. Smearing that out. I want it kind of faint back there. I don't need it to be real. We're gonna have a bunch of trees come in over it too, so as long as we just kind of know where that's at. And then I'm gonna come in, I'm gonna take a little brown. So this was a black-brown mixture, and then now I'm just kind of changing it to a little bit of brown. We've got a few more little bushy things to do here. I gotta whisper when I'm doing it. I'm even gonna take just a little tiny bit of yellow. Alright, so we're gonna be adding some other trees and stuff too. I just want to get a little touch. Alright, then I'm going to go back to this darker color. Further away we get from that light. And wherever your reflection side is, you don't have, I'm being a little bit more kind of blurry with those, the other ones. Okay. So now I'm going to go in, just take my big brush. I want to go in and get some big bushy leaves here. All right. So now I'm going to take this little skinny brush and I'm going to go in that same kind of black brown mixture, and we're going to start to do some little, let's see, do a big skinny little tree in here.
And Joey Henry's watching now.
Hey, Joey. That was a good live set the other day when I was painting this picture. It's funny, I noticed on this picture I forgot to add the leaves on that. So you're just gonna come in and, again, try to get it pretty good. You don't have to be perfect. here. Now sometimes when we do reflections, you can make it more blurry, but this image is very specifically kind of got a crystal clear reflection. And we've got little guys all in here. So when I'm using this liner brush, I'm just getting my paint really wet and just kind of rolling that brush around. And then that's pretty good. Got some that are kind of leaning off. They don't all have to be full trees. Don't forget, wherever you put some branches, you gotta kind of go in. Don't forget your reflection. Let's see, let's do some little stickies. Well, okay. So yeah, I guess don't put too many limbs because then you'll have too much to keep track of when you're trying to do a reflection. All right. Thicken this up just a little bit. I gotta step back for a second. See here what I need to do. So I'm gonna add just a few highlights here. Let me add, like I want another little brown. This looks like a lighter. Okay, I'm just gonna add some highlights in here to these trees right along, which I've done some already, but I'm gonna come in with a little stubby brush just because we haven't used him yet. I feel like he's probably feeling left out. All right, so I'm gonna take a little bit of yellow and a tiny touch of red, and I'm just gonna go in and just kind of just adding a little bit of color to these trees. I may even add a little shadow. Back to my orange here. Okay. And only thing, I think the last thing I'm gonna do is just take this liner brush here. I'm gonna just go in and add a couple little branchy things coming out up here. So these are like connected to something. And maybe I'll do so all I'm going to do now is just come in and do a little reflection highlight in here. So we did that pretty thick dark line to start. And on the part that you've designated as your reflection, I'm just going in and just adding a couple little ripples here. All right. Just a little bit more. Okay, the hardest part is to know when to stop. And I think that time is now. So that's how you do a pretty simple reflection picture. Landscape, happy trees. It's got all the, what do you need?
Let's see the CD cover again.
Oh, okay. We were listening to Joey Henry's Dirty Sunshine Club, so make sure to check that out. I'm going to give this a little signature, and before we go, I have to wish a very special someone happy 18th birthday. So, Sebastian Sontheimer, we're wishing you a happy 18th birthday. I was going to sing the happy birthday song, but we'll just wait till we see you in person. So, all right. Well, thank you guys for watching. Happy birthday, Sebastian. Happy 18th. I'm sure you're spending it in the funnest quarantine you've ever had. So, talk to you guys later.